All right, so this morning I'd like to talk a little bit about the three minds and also a bit about our dream sculpting program. Many of you are wanting to be life coaches, and that's a great business model because life coaching is a positive way of long-term relationships with your client. Unlike some therapy type things, where it seems like the long-term relationships are the same problem over and over. Life coaching kind of takes people in new directions. And if you are in this business, you want to be able to take them to wherever their goals, wherever they want to go. So we added to our program this thing called DreamSculpting. It really kind of takes advantage of many things. It kind of incorporates some feng shui, some Hawaiian huna traditions and concepts, along with neurolinguistics, as well as the law of attraction. If you've watched The Secret, this dream sculpting we consider kind of a secret to the secret. And one aspect of it I want to talk about now is the three minds and how we're going to incorporate that and help us get, have our dreams come true. Now there's many facets to dream sculpting. This is only one aspect of it, but it is a part where we integrate all the various aspects of ourselves or parts of ourselves to align it to achieve our goal. We also have in dream sculpting where something we call reverse imagineering, where you get your goal, you figure out what it is you want, and make sure you want it, and then you create steps towards it, as well as eliminating beliefs that may keep you from, or have kept you from achieving it, as well as dealing directly with the higher self and various aspects of the mind to make sure it does happen. Well, one of the areas that we kind of borrow to talk about a concept of why we may not have achieved our goals or what may be keeping us from doing it and how we can fix that is in this little diagram here of the three minds. Now I've listed them as conscious, unconscious, and I have it listed as a higher self. Some refer to that as the higher conscious or superconscious. And in one of the traditions of ancient Hawaiian huna, they have the idea how these minds of ours kind of communicate, and they have certain jobs. Like the conscious awareness is basically just what we're aware of. 7 plus or minus 2 forms of stimuli that we can keep track of. Kind of a logical processor, makes judgments and so on. And we kind of get our experiences and then we make these judgments about them. Some of them, those judgments are useful. Some may have proven not to be so useful. Whatever the case is, the conscious and unconscious or subconscious communicates with each other. And in the tradition there's like a little communication cord here between our conscious awareness and our unconscious activities in the background. Now if you watch some of the movies like What the Bleep We Know, you know that this conscious awareness can keep track of maybe 2,000 bits of information, where the unconscious can process up to 400 billion bits of information. So there's a lot of stuff going on unconsciously that's affecting us. Now I've broken down the unconscious into borrowed and modified a bit the feng shui bagua. Right? And it kind of divides the areas of life. So we have relationships, lifestyle, which in bagua is actually fame, health, family, spiritual, religious activity, career, helpful people, and activities. And then in the center, they have overall life and health. Because if you have all these things in alignment, your health is going to be good. And of course, without health, the rest of them really doesn't matter all that much. Right? So with this in mind, I've kind of divided it up so we can kind of take aspects of our life. Like, where would your goal be? I mean, if the goal that you're thinking about now, the thing that you want most in your life, which area of life would that be in? And then we kind of get all the parts of the person that is involved in that area of life. I mean, for career, there's a lot of feelings that people want in their career. They want, like, recognition, support, connection, contribution, financial security, freedom, independence. These are aspects of a person's career. If you had all the feelings that you wanted, like one of those feelings were felt, in your career, you would be happy in it. Relationships, they have some. They like connection in there, feeling, love, trust, support, loyalty, honesty. These feelings could be in there. Now, what we do is we get all of these aspects or parts of ourselves and we align them to be at one with that goal. I'll tell you why this is important. In ancient Hawaiian philosophies and others, it's believed that the higher self can get us anything we want, right? That if we're able to connect with our higher self and ask it to do something, it will do it. And apparently, it's believed that it has the power to alter the world if necessary to make that happen. And it's kind of the keeper of our spiritual gifts. It believes we're all one. It really has no judgment. So we can ask it, and we will receive. Now, many people say, "Well, I've really asked for my higher self to provide me these things, but so far I've come up short." And if that is the case, it's probably because you may realize that you know that there's a communication cord between the unconscious and the conscious. And there's a communication cord between the unconscious and the higher conscious. But you may notice where there's no direct communication from conscious awareness to the higher self. Now, I don't know, if you watch the movie The Secret, you may have seen that scene where the person was looking at like a postcard of an elephant, and the next thing you know, an elephant was in the room.
Yes.
Right? That's what it would theoretically be like if your conscious mind could directly relate to the higher self. Every conscious thought would manifest itself. Now that would seem kind of chaotic in this world. So instead of having that, the conscious awareness, our conscious desires are filtered through our unconscious mind, which keeps track of the whole being. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how that work out, the unconscious is divided up in a lot of conflicting parts and beliefs. Like in one context, we might believe one thing, in another context, we believe another, but these beliefs can be opposing. Oftentimes, money is this way, like how much a person believes they deserve, or if you have so much money, or what people do with lots of money, they do things that are bad to the earth or whatever. Or you got to have enough money to pay bills, and if, depending on your religious beliefs, that money may be somehow connected to evil. All of these beliefs are in there. And so really what the higher self is doing is giving a compromised message to the higher self. I mean, if you have all these various beliefs, it has to kind of work out, well, how much money do we deserve? How much money is good? How much money is going to keep us from going to hell? And how, and what kind of money is going to be all right? And then it's lay out, okay, this is how much money we can make. And then it sends that to the higher self. So the higher self says, okay, this is how much money you get.